put together a presentation based on things that I think are important from the big perspective here. Things that I think that you guys need to know if you're really going to get this business done right. And some of the people in the room have been here a dozen times, have heard these stories a dozen times, but it's not for you. I'm here to talk to the brand new people in the room. That's who I'm trying to connect with. And so I'm going to tell you a little story from my military background. If you don't know, I spent 23 years in the United States Marine Corps. And I spent 4 years of that on the black side in special ops. I'm a jump master paratrooper. And one day I was down at the Special Ops Command at MacDill. Every year they have a huge parachute competition. This is a multi-service parachute competition, 75 teams from 182nd Airborne, 75th Ranger Regiment, Navy SEALs, Green Berets, the pararescue teams from the Air Force. They all come in and compete, and truthfully every year just about the U.S. Army wins it. Why? Because there's more paratroopers in the Army than all the other three services combined, 4 if you count the Coast Guard. So the general calls me up, General Steiner calls me in his office, and he says, Major Whitaker, we don't have a Marine team being represented here in this my competition. And so you're a jump master. I want you to put together a team, and I want you to be part of the competition. Now, I'll just tell you, he didn't expect me to win his competition. The Army had won it the last 10 years, and the Navy SEALs the year before that. He just wanted a Marine team in there, so he had bigger bragging rights, I guess. And I said, okay, I'll do that. So the first thought was, if you're going to put together a team, what would you do? You would go find the best people you find. I thought about all the great Marine paratroopers I knew. I had a buddy by the name of Jerry Durant that actually survived a double parachute malfunction and ended up in Pine Tree in Lejeune and parachuted 2 days later. I said, Jerry, you got to come down and be part of this super team I'm putting together. And he said, okay, I'm being deployed tomorrow. So I run out of good guys to call. So here, what's plan B? Plan B is I go down into our communication center, which was manned by Marines, and I walk through the comm center, and there was a little lance corporal, and he had a set of jump wings on, not gold wings, just the silver ones. It means he had less than 20 jumps. And I said, you're a paratrooper? He said, well, I went to jump school. I said, how many jumps you got? 6. I said, good, that works. And you, and I grabbed 4 of these 19-year-old kids that combined together had 0 experience. And I said, you're going to be on my jump team. And so the day of the competition showed up, I grabbed these 4 guys together and I said, here's how it's going to work. I'm going to take you up in a helicopter, I'm going to throw 4 of you out, and when you go out, I'm going to jump out and I'll drop air and I'll get below you. I don't want you to look at the drop zone. I don't want you to even think about looking at that X in the center of the drop zone. I don't want you to look at the horizon. I don't want you to do anything but put your peepers on me. I'm pretty good at this, and I'm going to hit the drop zone. All you have to do is if I turn left, you turn left, I turn right, you turn right. Now, steering a military parachute is not like one of these sports parachutes where you can land them on a dime. If you put one of those in the football field, you're pretty good. I am really good at it. They got a picture of my feet perfectly hitting the center of the X 2 times in a row. But that's not remarkable. I was a good paratrooper. What was remarkable is that these 4 kids landed right on top of me. To see, all they knew is they needed to follow the old major down to the ground, right? Now, why do I tell you that story? Wes Blatter, we won the competition. Yeah? And winning's not everything. I wrote an article for Soldier of Fortune and made sure they included that in the notes on the author so I could rub everybody's nose in it. That's the second part of winning. But here's the point. Here's the point of the story. Wes Blatter knows how to hit the MLM drop zone. Wes Blatter knows how to hit this Farman X drop zone. I know how to hit this drop zone. If you want to learn how to do this business, don't leave here and go create a new model. You can. I mean, you're an independent. You can do anything you want to. My suggestion, right, Lisa, is to follow all this training that we lay out for you. Do exactly what we teach you to do, and guess what will happen? You will be successful. We know how to hit this MLM drop zone. So let me just kind of help you get your head around a couple of key points here. Here's what I'd like you to write down on a sheet of paper. Write down a big bold letters that this is a business, because people really screw that up. This is not a job. It's not a hobby. This is a business. My good friend John Malemby says if you treat it like a business, if you treat it with respect, it will respect you. You treat it like a hobby, it'll act like a hobby. Now, in order to do this business, you're going to need some key points here. And two of them are so closely related, I don't know whether you do one or two or one, but there's two things that are related. One is make a decision. We've heard that from Max and a dozen people. The other one is to have a belief system. So make a decision one, belief system two. Three, guys, and somewhere here you've got to take some action. All right? And number 4 is going to seem a little strange to you, but I'll explain it to you. Just write down on number 4 that tenacity is for wimps. Okay? And number 5 is a topic that I want to talk about. If you stay for the extra training after the end of this, I'll get into leadership. All right? So let me talk about this. Is this a business? You heard part of my story about how I had a nutrition store. Let me back up a few years before I went into business for myself. I was so happy being a Marine. You know, I joined the Marine Corps in my 20s. They let me jump out of planes. They let me shoot machine guns. I mean, come on, and throw hand grenades. I would have paid them for this job. I was in the Marine Corps for 15, 17 years before I realized they weren't paying me a lot of money. I was just so happy, right? But then, you know, one day you look up, you got a wife and you got kids, and you're thinking, hey, I got to put these brats through college, and oh my goodness, I hadn't been making a lot of money. And I remember having a conversation with my buddy Jay Rose. I said, Jay, it's been God, country, and Corps for the last 20-some years. I'm punching out of this thing, and it's going to be cash, cash, and cash when I get out. I paid my dues, and I'm not afraid to make money. So I went into the corporate world. Why? Because I'd had a job all my life. I got paid every 2 weeks. So my brain only knew what? Job. I'm going to get a great corporate job. I'll climb the corporate ladder, and as fast as I can, make as much money as I can. They hired me on as a project officer. I go to director, executive vice president. Within 9 months, I'm running the company. I did a good job with a small company. What they do? They gave me a bigger company. So here it was. In 2000, I moved to Europe. I moved to Brussels, Belgium, to take over a pan-European company. I'm the managing director, and I'm just working myself like a madman. And one day, my wife came to me and said, my brother's getting married. I want to fly back to the States to my brother's wedding. And I want you to go with me. It's going to be a fun time. We'll only be gone for a few days, a long weekend. It'll be a great wedding. We'll have fun. And here's what happened to me. See, my paycheck was all based on bonuses, on how much profit, how much revenue I could grow. My heart starts to palpitate a little bit. Oh, I just fired a marketing director. I've got to replace him. We're buying a little company down in France. I'm involved in that. I need to launch this new product, and oh my God, oh, honey, I just can't go. You listen, I'll buy you a plane ticket. You go back to the States, Stall, and have fun, right? Well, let me tell you when that was. Morning of September the 11th, my IT manager comes into my office and says, planes are flying into the World Trade Center. Everybody remember where you were on September the 11th? Well, I'm in an office about the size of this room, big glass windows, looking out not at beautiful mountains, but looking out across Brussels, thinking I had arrived at the top of that corporate ladder. And I was like, what is going on? We turn on TV, BBC, and that's how we got over there, right? So we're watching this, and I looked at my executive assistant, and I said, where's my wife? And they said, oh, she's up in the air. She's in a plane. See, the first rumors, it was a terrorist on every plane. Planes were crashing. One in the Trade Center, one in the Pentagon, one's going down. I'm like, I don't even know where these planes are coming from. I don't even know if I still have a wife. It was 2 hours before I could figure that out. They seized all the phone lines between the U.S. and Europe. I couldn't even call home for 24 hours. The next day, I walk into work, my big, beautiful mahogany desk, and I'm like, suddenly this office doesn't look so cool anymore. I looked at my desk, there's a bottle of Rolaids on one side and a bottle of aspirin on the other side, like two goalposts. Executive survival kit. I said, what is wrong with me? I mean, what is wrong?